What's up everyone, Chris here from Mainely Mesh, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to string a laceless, an STX Surgeon 900. If you haven't already seen my review, make sure you check it out. Long story short, I think this is one of the premium offensive heads on the market right now, and it's definitely something you should take a look at. Also, I'm gonna see if I actually know how to use YouTube cards for the top string video, shooting strings, and throat lace, which I've already done. Today's tutorial is going to be a pattern strung to the inside. On some of my other tutorials, I will also include a more traditional pattern, but I think stringing to the inside really caters to the aggressive face shape of this head. And quite frankly, I have to give this head to its new owner. But you can check out my video on how to string the perfect pocket for a lot of inspiration and more or less a pattern for how to string this with a more traditional sidewall knot structure. Here we go. So as you can see, I have a 9-diamond top string tied to that second sidewall hole, which is pulling a good amount of tension into it, but it's a good way to start. We're gonna feed that sidewall string from the outside in of the third sidewall hole and coming up through that mesh diamond. We're gonna loop it twice here, so you can see me pulling it outside in and up again. Every time I loop here, I'm gonna pull it tight and make sure I feed that string to the right side of the mesh. So I'm coming back up through the mesh a second time, really pulling it tight, making sure that's locked down. Now I'm gonna tie an anchor knot. So I'm gonna come in from the outside in of the fifth sidewall hole, up through the second mesh diamond and leave myself a loop there that I can come down and through. Now here, I need to pull tension out through the inside of the head here, pull that nice and tight, and then I'm gonna pinch with my inside finger here to keep that tension tight, pulling down and setting that anchor knot. Now we're gonna start stringing to the inside. So outside in here, pull that string through and get the tension out. This preps us to string through from the inside. So I'm coming up through that third mesh diamond. I'm gonna skip a hole and come inside out, leaving a little bit of space for me to string that string back through and up on top of the string that I've just put through the sidewall hole. Then I'm gonna come down through this mesh hole, pull the string through and pull all the tension out of that mesh hole. Really important to pull that tension out here. Notice how I'm using my finger again to pinch and hold it. From here, I'm gonna come up through the next mesh hole, which is the fourth. I'm gonna skip another sidewall hole and go inside out, pull that through, leaving that little bit of space that I'm gonna come outside in of the sidewall hole above it and come on top of that string, pulling out the tension. Gonna come down through that same exact mesh hole, the fourth, and pull all of the tension out that I can, and then pinch it with my inside finger to hold that tension. Gonna come up through the fifth mesh hole, inside out of the very next sidewall hole, so not skipping a hole this time, leaving that loop so that I can come in through the sidewall hole above it and on top of that string, pulling that tension out before going down through the fifth mesh hole again and pulling all the tension out once again. Now we're gonna go up through the sixth and the seventh. So up through the sixth, up through the seventh, forming our stacked inside SI. We're going to not skip a sidewall hole, so inside out, leaving that loop again, outside in of the one above it. And now here, I'm actually gonna go down through the second one first, so the seventh mesh hole, and then down through the sixth mesh hole. So reversing the path of that string. I do a little switching of hands there before pulling all that tension out once again. And you can see how I'm really forming that stack and that sweet spot of that pocket. Then, without going through any mesh, I go inside out of the next sidewall hole. So there's no mesh that I'm running through there, leaving that loop again so that I can go outside in of the hole above it, feeding that string on top and pulling out any tension there. So there's no mesh involved in that process. And then I go down through the next mesh hole. So I'm basically forming a 1 here. You see me kind of pushing out the pocket and making sure I have the pattern right. But then I'm gonna go inside out, skipping a hole this time. Again, not going through any mesh, forming that loop so I can go outside in of the hole above it, pulling all that tension out, down through the next mesh hole, so doing another 1 here, getting all that tension out of the mesh, inside out, skipping a hole again, leaving a little bit of room for me to feed that sidewall string up above once again. I know it's getting a little crowded in here, sorry for that. Pulling all the tension out and doing one more 1. So I'm going down through the mesh and immediately out from the inside of that last sidewall hole, pulling all the tension out that I can. And now I'm gonna loop this string through twice. So I loop around, go inside out of the same sidewall hole, pull out that tension. And now you are going to witness my spectacular fine motor skills as I try to form this second loop and really just absolutely crushing it. I mean, come on. Have you ever seen fine motor skills that precise? Okay, we're through. So once I've done that double loop, and that's not really necessary, that's just for fun, I'm gonna tie 2 overhand knots. I don't really demo this very well for you guys, but it's in some of my other videos. So I'm just tying a single overhand knot, and then the second overhand knot, I'm gonna kind of fill that space in that the first one missed. So it should be one big hunk of knot when we're all through, as you can see here. And boom, that, my friends, is a pocket. So there you have it. That is how I would string a Surgeon 900. Characteristics of this pocket, it's not crazy deep, but that's also just kind of the characteristic of this mesh here. You can pound it out and get more than enough depth for you. I think stringing it to the inside here is gonna add a ton of ball retention. You can see there's a bunch of just gunk in here that's gonna hold up that ball, which is gonna be really nice. This head is strong enough that you shouldn't have at least any issues with the head becoming illegal or anything like that. But it's just gonna have a nice, smooth release, enough oomph for when you wanna power through some shots, but a nice kind of one-handed low pocket for those offensive players who are looking to really hold on to that ball. For those of you who try this pocket, let me know how it plays for you down in the comments below. Let me know how the tutorial worked for you. Definitely some things I can improve upon for sure. But other than that, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time.